Okay, brilliant. So, welcome back. So, this is stage 3. So, we're working on the solar plexus today. So, just to recap, we've been through the root, you did your chakra assessment and the soul life satisfaction form. We did the sacral, which is all about the emotions. So that was a big one for you
Yeah.
last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
How have you felt after that? Like, did anything come up for you?
Yeah, it's been, I feel like, the most emotionally stable that I've been in a while. The
Oh,
last little while now, the last few weeks. It was interesting because I went to Bristol to see my parents the week after having that, and there was quite a lot of stuff related to my mum and stuff.
yeah.
So that was, yeah, I just think I was a bit more gracious maybe, or a bit more aware. But no, generally I've been all right. I've been quite reflective probably, but no major things been going on emotionally.
Yeah. How have you felt in yourself? Because we were working on authenticity and feeling a bit more able to speak your truth. How are you finding that playing out?
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to think of examples of times that I've had to do that in the last week or so.
You had a situation in work, didn't you, that you dealt with quite well?
Yeah.
And then, but then you were kind of going back into that situation.
Yes. Yeah. So I think it's interesting because, like, I think my interpretation and how I view the situation is similar to how a lot of people have, and I guess my role in that situation was slightly different to some other people. So I voiced things which they were like, yeah, totally get that. I haven't actually seen the mum again yet, just because there's been other fires to be putting out. But yeah, it's in. Basically found out this week that I've got onto a family therapy.
Oh, great.
So yeah, so the funding wasn't there, now it is.
Oh, brilliant.
But it starts January the 13th, so nice. And yeah, I found out about 4 weeks ago that I got on it, but the funding wasn't available. But now it is, which is great. It just means that I have to tell my schools that I'm leaving in 3 weeks, basically.
Oh my god.
So it's one of them. So I sent the email yesterday, and it's been lovely. Like, the feedback, like, a couple of the teachers have said, "Oh, we're going to miss you, but good for you," and stuff. And then a few I haven't heard back from. Yesterday in my school, I had a teacher. Basically, they want me. The head teacher wants to pay me to do some work with another member of staff, because this member of staff is willing to talk to me, but not anyone else.
Okay.
Which is great and really flattering. But it's like, I haven't got the capacity, sadly, because I'm about to start this course, which is going to be very intense.
Wow.
But it's really lovely, like, the being regarded well.
Definitely.
And I guess I'll hopefully, well, yeah, it's likely that I'll hear more of that in the next few weeks as I leave and stuff. But yeah, so it's been a kind of, lots of changes kind of week. I only found out Monday that it might be happening, and then confirmed on Wednesday. So
well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it feels really good stepping into something that is actually how I want to work and how I see this work anyway.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think it's bringing up a lot of like, there's definitely a sense of imposter syndrome going into this role, because we have to film ourselves and record our sessions. So I'm aware of that, of like, I'm someone watching me do therapy, and be caught out and told, oh no. And then I was talking to my husband last night, and I think I'm quite good in, like, professional settings at making people, whether they like me or, like, respond well, and I can kind of what's the word, like, read the room or ease or something. So just because generally I get quite good response of, like, oh yeah, as a person we like you. And then, but it's funny because they don't know what I'm doing in the therapy space. I could be doing anything. Yes, they have some good results, but sometimes it's hard to see. It's like, yes, they've, it's not immediate quick fix. So I think that's something that really works in my favour in terms of getting in there, and then I can do the work. But I'm just interested in whoever takes over from me, there's a bit of protectiveness on my part on the relationship I've built, but also I feel a bit bad if they're kind of really amazing therapists, but a bit like, I'm just going to deal with you how I deal with like the schools, whatever. That'll just be a different dynamic that the schools will have to adapt to. So I'm a bit like aware of that, but it's not really my problem anymore. So yeah, lots of change and lots of kind of seeing my skills and looking at my skill set and thinking about the future and stuff.
Yeah. So how are you feeling amongst all this? So if we first started these sessions 5 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
5 weeks ago, and and it was all very much about finding your authenticity, being able to express yourself, that kind of thing, getting that emotional balance right for you. So obviously we've been working through the energy of being grounded, forming stable foundations. Sacral chakra was a big, massive area for you for emotions, connections, letting go of things that weren't yours. Loving the body was a big one. Being comfortable with that, not criticizing the body anymore, and kind of feeling empowered in your own skin. No matter how you feel about your body at the time, just feeling empowered for who you are. And now obviously these changes are occurring, which are amazing. So how are you feeling from the first session to now?
I do definitely feel more grounded. I can definitely say that. Like, I think what I'm trying to hold on to is being grounded and staying calm or whatever, regardless of what life throws at me. And I've got people saying this course is going to be really intense and you're going to have no capacity to do anything else, and blah, blah, blah. I know they're doing that to help me get the seriousness of it and to not overdo it and take on other things. I get that, but part of me is just like, no, it's going to be calm. I'm going to ace it, but I'm going to do it, in a measured way, a grounded way, and not flappy. And I think that's something about like that idea of like stress as a sign of status. Like if I'm really stressed out and flapping, and it's like, look at me, I'm doing something really important and I'm clearly working hard and I'm good enough because I'm trying. And actually that's not what I want to do, and that's not who I want to be or what I want to be known for. I want to be able to, because I think there's something about like if you're calm and confident, it's like, well, what gives you the right, weirdly? But actually I'm like, well, I have the right to do that if I choose to respond like that to my circumstances.
Exactly. Like you choose how you want to respond. Some days you might be stressed, the next day you might be calm. It's having that flexibility of either way, being able to express how you feel, whoever that's to, if it's just at home, if it's to work, friends, but just being comfortable to go, this is how I'm feeling, and not have to pretend or worry about them or hide anything. That is just being empowered. Actually, you're asking, this is how I feel, and it might be I'm having a shit day, or it might be I'm good today. It's that, and that's
being real and with it.
And that's balance, isn't it?
I think it's like knowing, okay, this is how I feel, and actually not taking, because I think that's the thing, I take on everyone else's of, guys, it's going to be really intense. Like I told some friends about getting on it and they're like, oh, well done, brilliant, like that's really cool. And I was like, part of me was going, no, but it's going to be really intense, it's really serious, it's a really big thing. Just get the enormity of it over, and also to be like, look at what I've got onto. But actually I'm like, no, it's great, like it is great, and I haven't started yet. I don't need to get stressed yet, because that'll come, I'm sure. But just knowing, okay, this is how I feel about this, that's how I'm going to respond, rather than going, I have to do this, or I have to feel like this, or
and you even have the right to say it's such a big thing and feel so privileged to have achieved it. I'll be doing bloody awesome. If that's the underlying response, like one, because we all do it, I do it, to get that pat on the back.
Totally.
And I guess when you're saying that, it's resonating with me too. But I guess, if it is a big deal for you and you want that kind of but your friends might not understand,
yeah,
then you be the one to own it.
Yeah,
it's a big
true.
deal, you know.
Yeah, I'm a big deal. Yeah. No, it is true. Yeah, and because it's like that thing of cockiness and being too arrogant about it, and actually, yeah, you should check that.
Yeah.
But
if it's well deserved,
yeah,
Naomi, it's well deserved.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So I've read the form, and really interesting about, especially about the faith and everything like that.
Yeah.
And you stepped away from that. So
yeah,
I was
not fully.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was interested, sort of,
Yeah.
because I wasn't quite sure why you did that. Was that just a personal choice, or was it?
Yeah, it's a long story. Well, it's not really a long story. I think I was involved very much from an early age. It's always been part of my identity, being a member of church or my faith. My home church is very much about community and looking after each other and helping each other. Whereas when I came to university, it was more about spirituality and sort of the Holy Spirit and more like that side of things. Yeah. There was still the community aspect for sure, but it was more about this, connection and like what you can then do with that and stuff. And I got really involved, and I was always very much like leading stuff, and me and my husband's like leading a group, like a community group, like looking at Bible study stuff as well as just getting together and hanging out. We did that for a while, and then we just got really burnt out from, I think, when you're that close to the leadership of a church, their expectations of what a Christian should be are quite high, and then you're kind of like dragging everyone along with you. And then there's loads of flaws with religions generally, and there's lots of things that we didn't sit quite right with us in terms of how Christians respond to social issues. Or, I mean, obviously homosexuality is a huge one, but then there's loads of other things about just like the othering of people who aren't Christians, and like seeing them as the enemy or whatever, and actually that didn't sit well with us and wasn't true for us. So it's just been a gradual thing. I think it'll be about 6 years in January since we stepped away from leading, and that basically stepped away from church. And we both had different reasons. Like my husband's mum wasn't very well, so because she was very much like a prayer warrior and healing and very like amazing, like a Christian woman, but she's ill and she's got dementia and she's not okay. So he's like reconciling that. So that's more his thing, but obviously that feeds into me a little bit. But for me, it's just like not knowing really what I want, what I was getting from church. But I think I still believe in a higher power, and I'd call that God, but I know that that's my cultural conditioning. So I have like a Christian view on the world, recognizing that as my shaped viewpoint based on my upbringing, and recognizing other faiths or spiritualities or ways of seeing the world as probably the same thing by a different name.
Different avenue.
So just different way of seeing it, or different way of looking at it. So there's lots of things that like we're kind of unlearning. It's interesting, my sister-in-law is in a similar position to us as well, so we've had some good chats with her over the weeks that she's been here. And it's just like just the stuff that I took as so important, and so integral for me being a good Christian or having a good life or whatever, that I'm like, that's not important really in the grand scheme of things. So like the sexual stuff and like saving sex and marriage and stuff, that was quite a big thing. It wasn't massively talked about at my home church, they're quite conservative, but it was still like a message. And then in my church and uni it was much more of a like thing, but it was still my internalized idea and my internalized like priority, I guess. But looking back, I'm like, oh, what's the point? Like there's some aspects where I'm like, being empowered to make that choice, to have ownership over your body and to feel like you can decide things, and actually not just like feeling like you have to do something because it's what the culture says. But then it's kind of the other way of having to do something because of what the culture says. So so there's lots of flaws with it, and I don't know what I would say to my kids now. I'd just talk to them about it and make sure they make a decision that's right for them. But yeah, so stuff like that. There's other things as well, but that came up quite a lot. Obviously in teenage years, that was something.
Yeah, I mean, that cultural belief system that we're conditioned into is such a big thing when it comes to how we identify ourselves and others in the world. It's like when we get to this solar plexus chakra, this is really where we start to, this is a projected version of ourselves. It's like how we're showing up, how we want to be seen, but our identity is very much wrapped up in all the belief systems we've held on to from the root, so 0 to 7, the sacral 7 to 14, and now you're stepping into womanhood, really. So it's interesting that you kind of made the decision, big decision, really, isn't it? Like to change, step away from something that you've so identified with, that shape so far. It's like a remolding and like you say, an unlearning, and then what do I choose now to believe in?
And I think that's been part of the like emotional upheaval over the last few years. Like there's been lots of changes, like getting married in the last 5 years and moving back, having a baby. Like there's been a lot of big things, but also like underpinning that has been stepping away from church. So like even though we weren't involved as such, we were still going to church, well, very ish, when we moved to Guildford. And then when we came back, it was like, oh, like we should be in a church. And very much like, oh, we're having a baby, so we should be in a church.
Yeah.
I guess it's a community thing, or it's just what we know.
Yes.
But even then, we just didn't feel settled anywhere. And then the church that we were in Guildford, they started a church up here. So we went along to like the planning meeting, and I could just feel myself getting dragged into, I belong, which is not a bad thing. I belong, and I can be a part of something. But it's about being seen and being like, I know the leaders who are kind of celebrities, like Christian celebrities. They talk to me, they know my name. Oh my gosh, we know people that they know from Guildford. And like just getting dragged into this sort of this thing, and I could see myself, I could get burnt out by leading and serving here. And then it started up and we just didn't really go. We've been a couple of times, and like the worship's great, and like there's something about music that I love, and good worship music kind of just gets me, and I think connects me to God. But there's just lots of trappings that don't sit right with me. And there's loads of, this is the thing, there's loads of good things that I want to take from my faith, and I still have a faith and a spirituality. I just don't find that in church. So I'd still say that like Jesus as a role model is great, but no one actually lives like him. If you actually look at what he did, it was revolutionary and radical, and none of us are like that because we're capitalists, and there's so many things that we just don't do, but if we did, we'd probably make the world better. So there's loads of teachings of that I'm like, yes, but I just find that it gets so caught up in, well, you're a woman, so you can't do anything, and oh, you're gay, so you're not a legitimate person, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, how is that something that I can
see everything that you're saying? Like what I'm hearing is everything about just belief systems that we have in general, that because you've mentioned moved to a new place, you wanted to get rooted, feel secure, found a church, you wanted to belong, sacral chakra, and you found yourself identifying with an ego, basically, because the ego lives here. Like the ego wanting to attach and identify for a sense of self-worth and validation, but you recognize that, and that's amazing. So everything you've just talked about there represents how we all get conditioned into one thing or another. And you so beautifully just laid it all out there, how for you it was so ingrained regards religion. For other people, it's just so, we don't know it, but we're so ingrained. Our belief system is so ingrained into us. We don't know what we actually choose to believe because we weren't given the choice. We've learned things, and then we then become this person that we project, and really, what choices have we actually made for ourselves to be this person? So I'm just interested to know, because everything obviously we've been talking about through our coaching sessions is about you becoming empowered, becoming centered, knowing who you are, like not being swayed or pulled in or over empathizing with other people to the point where you sacrifice your own feelings and needs, and worry about other people, feeling safe in your body and loving it for what it is. And kind of, I know that you've put in this particular session that you want to know what you're working towards, and that's a big thing. That's where you're going to identify next, because that's where the motivation and drive will come in. Is knowing actually what is it I'm working towards and why. So normally in our first session, it's about the goals and everything. So your roots, well, what are these foundations that we're going to help solidify? So whatever you build or aim towards is based on solid ground. It's not going to crumble. And originally it was, well, I kind of want to be free from these limitations I've put on myself of holding back, and I don't really know why I'm doing it. We've kind of worked that out as why. And now it's like, okay, I'm kind of stepping into a new future. I've got a sense of anxiety about it, but do you know what you're working towards, like what the bigger picture is?
I don't know. I've got bits of it. Like,
that's good.
Like, yeah, like obviously there's like the family side of bringing up a decent human being or two. There is still something about community and wanting people who are like the whole friends like family thing, because we haven't got loads of family nearby. So we're building that, and that takes time. And then career, like wanting to make a difference. And I don't know what scale it's going to be on. It might be in my place of work. It might be doing something like, I don't know, creating a model for something. It might be, I don't know. But again, it's like I think there's a slight apprehension to being aware of ego in that as well, of like, I want to be this well-known therapist who's, you know, the whole like either the well-known ones or the like the Instagram famous ones. So there's something in that about needing to be seen, and I recognize that from different aspects. I know that that's just a general, everyone has that, or specifically for me. But I'm aware of that desire. And figuring how healthy it is, I guess. Like where it's healthy and where it's like check yourself a bit on that. But there is an ambition to make a difference.
That's it. Sometimes with status you can make a bigger difference. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's the same in my industry as well. You know, you see it all the time. You think, oh, okay, that would be good. That looks so good and glamorous. Really, it's not. It's
hard work. And the more criticism and more
more imposter syndrome, more pressure, more everything. So with that, you know, visual stuff that we see, that's all the gloss and the glamour. It's a bit like Marilyn Monroe, you know. She was not, her life was not picture perfect. So I know, and I think that's a good barometer, is to always check in. Like I have to, so I always check in, why am I doing this? Like what is the purpose of this? Is it ego driven? Because that's going to lead you right down a false path. You're going to be very disappointed with the outcome of that. Or what are the real values that are driving me forward? So it sounds like you have a good sense of awareness where you can check in with yourself and go, what's the real motivation here?
I'd like to think so.
And it could be that you say, well, you know what, if I get to this place I can actually reach more people, you know, and that could be an absolute truism as well.
I think it's something about just figuring out where it is that I want to be placed. And like I feel glimpses of it, of like, this is what I'm meant to be doing, but I haven't found it yet. And I might not never. I might always be kind of trying things. I don't know. I'm the sort of person who likes my fingers in lots of pies. So we'll see where that leads me.
Well, hopefully with these sessions, as we move further up the chakras, we'll start to talk about soul purpose and things like that. So, yeah. And I always say, have a level of flexibility, because we just don't know what is in store for us in the future. Can only really guess from this position now based on what's gone before, what our desires are now. So it's being open, but kind of knowing how you want to feel in life, what's important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a meditation. Ooh. While you do it, I am going to run to the loo.
Go for it.
But you won't see me gone. It's just if you open your eyes and I'm not there, I am coming back. So
no worries.
I'll let you listen to this a couple of minutes again. Okay, so I might disappear off screen while I share this. Okay. Okay, so make yourself as comfortable as possible. Allow yourself to close your eyes and take your attention within. Taking nice deep breaths. Breathing into the heart, so the heart space becomes expansive and full of wonderful light. Allowing your body to become filled with the light. And as you become embraced by the light, you feel safe, supported, and nurtured by this spiritual light. Just allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into this wonderful feeling within. Visualize the color yellow and see your solar plexus chakra spinning in your upper abdomen. Visualize this yellow light dissolving any anger or fear that has held you back. Picture a cord connecting your solar plexus to the sun. Feeling the energy of power, strength, and confidence lighting up your body. One of the most beautiful aspects of spiritual awakening is the discovery of one's own power. And in each moment we have a choice. We can choose to live differently by releasing what no longer serves us. When we release certain fears, beliefs, or negative behaviors, we create space for more joy, positivity, flow, and abundance to come in as its replacement. Take this opportunity to bring to mind all the limiting beliefs, negative feelings, insecurities, fears and blocks that no longer serve you and are blocking your spiritual flow. And then imagine them away by the sun. And as they melt away, wonderful experiences, positive feelings, and opportunities you're going to create start to flood in to your stomach area. Just imagine a beautiful spiral of yellow light warming and filling your stomach area as you repeat the following mantra to yourself. Today I am ready for change. Today I am ready to let go. Today I am ready to trust, to see clearly, to love unconditionally, to walk my authentic path with the truth of who I am. And just taking some nice, slow, deep breaths. Allowing that energy to penetrate from your head to the tips of your toes. And in a moment, I will count you back from 3 to 1, where you will open your eyes and feel wide awake. 3, starting to feel your back against the chair. 2, wiggling your fingers and toes. And 1, opening your eyes and feeling refreshed and wide awake. That's so weird hearing my deep breathy voice. Oh my God. Cringe. How was that for you?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So what would you like to really kind of get laser focused on in this session?
Yeah, it's something. It's. I think it's that fear. So in that thing, I was picturing boxes and being put in a box or putting other people in boxes or whatever, based on labels, and understanding why we do that to make sense of things. But like the fear that comes when I get out of that box, and not wanting to throw the box away, but wanting to take what I need from it to carry with me and to pass on to other people, or to pass on to my family. Yeah, something about the box. So like, yeah, it's that, how do I living without the faith label, whilst lots of my people in my life still have that label, so not wanting to diss them.
Yeah.
But finding my own authentic way of handling that and living that label in a different way. I've kind of got like half the label. I'll take half of it and put half back in. So I'm just a Chris, or I'm a yeah, I don't know. So like, it's not gone at all, but it's not how I think anyone would expect it to look or be.
How do you feel like? So what I'm hearing you saying is obviously they're strongly identified, and you're kind of breaking away from it. And how is it going to be perceived? How are you then going to integrate back into that kind of community, family, and still be accepted? Or
I don't think there'd be any unacceptable. It's just things like, so the thing is, when like two of my best friends, we've all had our own faith journey, but we'd all be Christians, and they'd be quite much more overtly so. I know that if and when I say they'll probably get it, but to an extent it's going to be like we'll pray for you with that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's really tough that you're going through that. Hopefully you figure it out and realize that Christianity's the way. And I might be assuming that, and actually they'd be different to that. But yeah, it's just that kind of like, this is a temporary little, life's hard, you're just going through a bit of a wobble.
Yeah.
And actually I'm not. And how to communicate that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
And to be honest, there's lots of my friends who are in a similar position.
Right.
So there's been a I don't know if it's an age group thing or a stage or whatever. Lots of questioning about church and but equally within the same friendship groups, there's people who are still very much active, and I respect them for that. And great, they found their truth.
I guess it's a question about your identity, really, isn't it? Like, is this in alignment with the true self, with the true identity? And yes, part of it is maybe the deeper wisdom in it is, but some of the other layering on it doesn't fit with what you want to identify with. So there's misalignment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I see what you're saying. So where's the block? I can see why you wouldn't want to be spoken to in a way that seems condescending.
Yeah.
But so where's the sticking point around it? Like, how if this session were to really help you, where do you feel lies the real problem?
I think it's in letting it go, or not wanting to let it go, but feeling that I have to make a choice almost. And actually that's really scary, because it is a huge part of my identity, and I've made lots of steps to reconciling that feeling, but there's still a sadness and a fear about not belonging in that community or with that identity.
I get that, and that's a massive thing for you anyway, because you just spoke before about that you want to, that's in your ideal life goal, is having that community, that belonging. Why you don't want to let it go, because it runs through the core of who you are.
It's like, I know there are other ways of doing it, but it's the one that I know. And it's the one that if I wanted to, I could go and get a load of mates and a huge group who meets every week, or who supports each other and looks after each other, and I could do that very easily.
Yeah.
Now, how authentic that would be another thing, but over time I could create that authentically, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah.
But I know that ultimately that isn't right, because I don't align with a lot of the people in that setting. Well, but yeah,
if you have the choice to create that for yourself, which I think is really important to you, so it might be at looking at ways how you would develop that naturally and organically. To suit your values. So yeah, I get that. There's a sense of loss through breaking away from this sense of community. You know that you're not going to be shunned out.
No.
But there's still elements of your belief systems not aligning with other people's belief systems, and there might be a little bit of friction and conflict go on, and you might feel a sense of separation, that you're moving away, and then there might feel a sense of loss, because it's like, well I don't fully belong to that anymore. So where do I belong? So then, would it be a case that you could create your own circle based on your values?
And I am, and I think it's it is there, it's just different. Like, when we had it before, there was a group of us, the one that we ran, like 15-20 of us, who would meet every week, and there's structure to it. But now life's different, we've got kids, you know, like, it would look different anyway. I don't know if it's a purely faith related thing. I think that's a kind of a general thing, but we've got peeps who are like, and I think that's maybe it's highlighted because we've had so much family time in the last week as well, of like people loving on our kid and seeing family who, my husband's not the most sociable of people, and obviously I really like him, so I like spending time with him and other people, so like he loves his family, so he'd always hang out with his siblings, so we had a really lovely time all together. Things like that, I think, it's just highlighting. It's weird, yeah. It's weird. I don't feel that loss acutely anymore. I was feeling it more maybe like 6 months ago, but actually I've kind of found a peace with that and with the community that we are building. But I think it's just like it's just lots of stuff that is how I know how to operate and how I know how to be, and my kid not having that in that way, and that's okay, and it's good, it's what we decided, but it's also like it's just different and new and unknown. So there's elements of that as well.
How does it impact on your sense of identity in general? Because obviously we've had the work thing, speaking the truth, and now you're going into this new thing. How does that, because that's such a massive part of your life, you breaking away from something so strong, such a safety net that fulfills the need of belonging. It's almost like no matter what's going on out there, I can shut the door and I know I've got my tribe. So how is this like re-identification of the self? Like it is definitely finding the true self, but with that, bloody hell, you have to strip yourself back, get there, start again. Like how is that impacting on the rest of your life and how you feel like showing up in the world when you're breaking away from this ingrained identity to then present yourself into the world in all these new situations?
I actually think I'm freer now, because I think before there's a real expectation. Now I'm a Christian. Like when I went to uni, I was only Christian. I'm going, I'm a Christian, and everyone go, oh, so that means you hate gay people and you're really nice and really good, or all these different expectations people have. And when you're out of the bubble, you realise lots of things, and I don't want to go back to being in the bubble. I don't want to exist with only in like an echo chamber. So actually, I think there's something about not. So my friends now are either Christians or not, or other religions as well, but either faith or not. So it's like I'll talk to my Christian friends about my questions, but I'll talk to my non-Christian or non-faith friends about my questions, and they're really interested often. They're like, cool, yeah. So I think it's neither of them get it quite because they're not in the same place. So I think that's where it shows up, of like not being able to explain myself properly or really fully explain my questions. Because I'm not like I'm anti this, because I'm in this limbo a little bit, sitting on the fence a bit. So I think it's just not being understood is probably sometimes it comes up. But actually, I've got a friend from uni who isn't really a Christian, but would have had religious upbringing to some extent, and has like, she would say she believes in God and blah blah blah. But I spoke to her the other day and she was like, "Oh, can you send up a prayer for my interview at 1?" I was like, "Yeah, I can do that." And for her, that gave her comfort. So it's just little things like that, and noticing when I can accept it and appreciate it, and when it fits. I don't know. Yeah, it's. I think it will benefit me in my work because I can see working systemically. Like, yeah, your faith is a huge part, or your cultural upbringing, or whatever. And so it will give me a more empathy, I think, and insight, hopefully. but yeah, I think there's this lurking fear, sadness that I've been working through, and it's still there, but it's lessened. And when I look at the reality, I think I'm actually in a better place for it. But there's still feelings there to get out.
And is that based on that losing that sense of that belonging feeling?
Yeah.
Or is it something else?
No, I think it is that, and I think it's about disappointing people. Yes, it'd be annoying if they keep saying to me, "I'll pray for you," but it's also more the disappointing them. Like my mum is a Christian still, and so she was like, "Oh, we should get into church," and and she kind of gets it, but also is scared because, you know, if you believe that it's the best way for someone to live and that they should live this way to get for eternal salvation, then you're going to be sad if your kid doesn't believe the same thing. But my brother doesn't, and she's reconciled that over many years. But I think, yeah, it's just different with me because I've not fully given it up. So, yeah. So I don't want to disappoint her, but also I know I've got to do what I need to do.
So is it a case that you're trying to reevaluate what you believe in, or?
Yeah. But also how that is, because I think I can believe whatever, and that hasn't necessarily changed my belief in God.
Yeah.
But it's more how that outworks and how that looks.
Yeah.
Which actually doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
Basically, if I believe that there's some power that, you know.
So the only thing that is a problem, not a problem, but the only thing is where do you then take what you believe, because you have a belief that if you have a faith, there is a community and a tribe attached to it. But when it's just you and you can believe what you want to believe, you're like, well, where's the group?
Yeah. How do I relate? Yeah.
How do I relate? How do I share? How do I practice it? Like everything that you said about the community tribe that's attached to Christianity, it's like you feel like you need to now find that in this new way of expressing
secular church.
yeah. So, and because there isn't that particularly a place to go to as of yet, and you've created that before very successfully, but life took you down a different path. Now it's going to be different. But if that's a need, a real deep need, and I think you need to question like the values behind it, like what do you really need, and do you really need it? And if you do really need it, how can you cultivate it? It might not be now, it might be in 6 months, 12 months, but figuring out, again, it comes down to the belief system, the deep structure that's in your mind, how having a faith should look in your life. Because I think you even need to question that.
Yeah.
Because again, it's just a belief system. You've learned how it should be.
Yeah.
Through the Christian faith. And there's elements that you love about it and you need in your life, but it won't be it doesn't
will look different.
Happen exactly how it's been drilled into you. You can recreate this that absolutely suits your life and your belief system and your values.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're in the middle, and you are, as exactly how you said it, you're on the fence right now, you're in the middle, and it's like, which direction do I go in? And I just think right now you need to do more soul searching on it, sitting with the self about it. Your belief system doesn't need to attach to anything tangible right now while you're figuring it out. And then if you want to create something based on the deep sense of knowing, then create it, because there'll be so many more that you can, people like yourself with families that want that community.
Yeah. I think it's like, it's like this cloud or fog.
Yeah. Because remember, your whole identity is being shaken up.
Totally.
And the massive part of that, the biggest part, if not the biggest part, I get the belief in the philosophy and the wisdom is the fundamental, but one of the biggest things is the sense of belonging.
Yeah.
So your whole identity, and anybody in your situation would be looking to right, well, what do I do now? Who do I go to? What, there's no one there. Oh, then you're going to feel this even bigger sense of moving away from the Christian faith, because you don't know what you're moving into.
Yeah.
So you're trying to kind of recreate that, but without the kind of complete structure of the Christian faith, but it's not there for you yet. So there will be like a feeling of free falling.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, you just said your faith is what you want it to be. You can believe in whatever you want. You know the deeper wisdom that runs through your belief system. You know what it feels like. You know what it means to you. That's your kind of universe inside you. That's your belief system. No one can change it, talk you out of it. You know on a core level what you believe in your heart. I'm saying to you, think about the fact that you don't need any safety structure to it yet. You don't need to go out there and identify with it. You might just need to sit with it.
That's true. Yeah. I think I've been like, it'll happen, it'll come, but not being intentional about it, or taking on other people close to me's ideas about what that means for me.
Yeah. And if there are conversations that arise, you can just say, I'm just figuring it all out within me right now.
Yeah.
It's like, let the process unfold naturally. Don't feel that maybe bringing up conversations right now where you need to explain yourself to other people because their opinions might just affect you right now. So does that, how do you feel about that?
Good. I think it's just permission giving. I think it's all stuff that's been on my or somewhere in my mind, but I've definitely been trying to label it or put structure to it or explain it, and actually I don't have the words, but I've been trying to anyway.
Yes, but that makes you feel probably just so confused.
And more frustrated and
safe.
So actually the permission to go, no, actually I don't know what I believe right now, and that's okay. Is quite big.
How does that feel to actually say that and feel that about yourself and own it?
Okay. I don't know what I believe right now. I think it's more unknown, but actually I think that's been something that I've been grappling with for years, of accepting and sitting in the unknown, learning to be okay with it, not rather than fighting it. So actually it feels quite familiar. And I think that's something, letting go and not battling it.
And how does it feel to say that, to own that, and not have to try and identify with a group or search to create a group, and to just be with yourself with it for a while?
I think I need to carve out that space, but I think because my searching for a group I haven't actually been doing anything. It's just like this, I need that. So actually to go, no, I don't right now.
Still have
a relief.
Tribe. You still have They're not gone.
No.
But I know in a way, energetically, you're going to feel that shift. But they're still there. Nobody's left you. Nobody's abandoned you. You still have a feeling of belonging. Whether you're Christian or not, right? Is that right? Whether you're Christian or not, you still have them.
Totally. And the people who, I don't think anyone would, but people who aren't okay with me, then it kind of says a lot about them more than me. But actually, I don't think any of my close friends or family or whatever would have an issue.
All right, so we'll end the session in a sec. Is there anything still niggling or like on your mind about it that we've not touched on?
No, I don't think so.
Sure.
I feel like it's quite a big thing, but there's that I think that next step of just sitting with it rather than fighting and seeking to understand it and striving. Actually just going, you know what, let's just take a minute. It's quite good.
Yeah. What I might do is send you a values exercise just to, because there's so many different ways you can figure out values. What topic would you like to look at your values on? It could be, what do you value about being in a group type of thing? It could be, what do you value about how you're transforming your identity at the minute? You could figure out your values on any topic that you feel is relevant.
But yeah, maybe values in a group or in a because I guess that would be family or friends or like the group or work, or
it could even be if you were to create a group in the future, what values would underpin it. I'll send you the exercise. Know that you can choose whatever feels right to you. Work out your top 5 values, because then you'll know what's the motivation behind you wanting to have it. And when you're ready to have it, that's your language. They're your drivers.
That's my things.
All right, I'll send you that now.
Fab, thank you.
I love. Well, we'll hook up again next week.
Fab.
And I'll be in touch anyway.
Thank you.
All right, my love. Take care.
Have a good week.
You
See you
too.
later.
Bye.
Bye.